Have you ever felt that strange, sinking moment at an airport when you suddenly realize something isn't quite right? Like the rules around you changed overnight while no one bothered telling you, and now everyone's looking at you like you missed the memo. Because in 2026, travelers across the world are experiencing exactly that moment thanks to what's already being called the most hated airport rule in modern travel history, a rule that seems simple on paper, harmless even, until you're the one stuck in a snaking security line watching the minutes burn away because someone in front of you got flagged for something so bizarre it's hard to believe it's real. And here's the craziest part. This rule didn't come from the TSA, like people assume. Nope, it wasn't the FAA, not even the airlines. It came from a cross-border traveler behavior safety initiative, a coalition barely anybody has heard of. A group working behind the scenes to standardize airport passenger behavior down to the smallest detail. And somehow they managed to push a requirement that's now rolling out worldwide. Mandatory micro-delays during security flow. Sounds confusing, right? Let me explain, because this is wild. Airports secretly started tracking how fast travelers move through each stage of the airport. How quickly you unload electronics. How long you take to remove belts or shoes. How fast you grab your tray. How long you hesitate before stepping into the scanner. And they claim these speed tracking patterns help identify risky travelers. Slow person. Suspicious? Too fast? Suspicious. Pausing for more than 3 seconds? Suspicious. And this led to the new rule. Every passenger must now comply with enforced behavior pacing, meaning you have to move at the rhythm the system assigns you, or get flagged. Yes, it's real. Airport staff won't state it publicly yet, but more than 200 airports in 2026 have quietly installed floor-embedded sensors and scanner-side pacing timers that measure your travel rhythm. If you load your bag too fast on the belt, warning. If you rush to grab your ID, warning. If you hesitate before picking up your carry-on, extra screening. The rule says it's about keeping security consistent, but travelers know the truth. It just slows everyone down, and people hate it. Because now imagine this. You're standing in line at 5 a.m., half awake, shoes halfway off, and suddenly the screen flashes red because you moved your laptop too early. Didn't know there was such a thing as too early. Nobody did. Yet now, because you broke the pacing rule, you're pulled aside for a 6-minute rhythm realignment. Check, basically a glorified timeout for adults that makes absolutely no sense. And the worst part? These new pacing alerts stack. 3 alerts in a single airport? Automatic full secondary screening that can take 20 to 40 minutes. Travelers are furious, but airports just shrugged and say the system is required by international coordination agreements. But here's where things get really strange. The rule isn't applied equally. It adapts based on your past flights, your digital behavior, even what time you tend to fly. Some people get a 2-second pacing window. Others get for seconds. No one knows the criteria. It's like a secret travel credit score. And if your pacing history is erratic, even by accident, maybe you rushed one day because you were late, or slowed down because your shoes got stuck, you're treated as higher risk. That's why people say it's getting worse. Because the pacing system learns from you, follows you, assigns you a travel rhythm identity that sticks with you, airport to airport. So if you get flagged in Dubai, expect alerts in Turkey. If you get flagged in LAX, good luck in Frankfurt. The system remembers. And people are freaking out, because for the first time ever, airports aren't just screening your bags or passport. They're screening your behavior, your speed, your hesitation, your body language, everything. But here's something almost nobody on YouTube or TikTok knows yet, because it's buried in obscure aviation papers. The pacing data doesn't just stay at the airport. It's shared with airline risk departments to predict which passengers are potential disruptors. Meaning your pacing alerts can affect whether an airline lets you board early, assigns you random secondary gate checks, or even restricts upgrades. Yes, your travel rhythm can blacklist you from a seat upgrade. And people wonder why this rule is becoming the most hated in 2026. But there's a deeper layer, one that feels almost dystopian. Some airports are rumored to be experimenting with sound pacing tiny, barely audible tones guiding passengers on how quickly to step forward or when to lift items. You don't consciously hear it, but your brain does. And if you move against the rhythm, alert, some airports use lighting pulses instead, LED lines on the floor that subtly drag your pace. Step ahead of the light. Alert, fall behind. Alert. It's all done under the justification of flow harmony, which sounds more like a yoga studio rule than airport security, yet here we are. And the craziest rumor? Some insiders say the next phase will involve hand movement pacing, meaning picking up your passport too aggressively could be interpreted as agitation. Is it true? Maybe. Maybe not. But knowing how these rules evolve, it wouldn't surprise me. But here's something I discovered that almost no traveler knows. Pacing rules are producing more delays, not fewer. Early internal reports indicate security lines are now 17% slower on average because passengers are scared to move. They don't want to trigger alerts. They freeze. They double-check every tiny step. And airports blame inconsistent compliance because of course they do. But insiders admit the system overshoots. It misreads nervousness as risk. It misreads confusion as threat. And it misreads normal human behavior as something dangerous. Think about that. Human behavior itself is now being standardized. And travelers feel it. They say airports feel colder now, sterile, almost choreographed. Like everyone is being forced to move in one weird, synchronized rhythm designed by a committee that's never held a carry-on in their life. But here's where things get really wild. Some people are already gaming the system. Frequent travelers have started practicing airport pacing drills. They rehearse picking up shoes slowly. They rehearse removing laptops at the pace of a metronome. There are literally practice videos circulating in private travel groups where people teach each other how to move like the system expects. This is the future. Really. And the worst part is the rule continues expanding. Some airports are experimenting with emotional pacing scanners that track facial expressions to judge whether your behavior is calm enough. People who look irritated, higher risk score. People who look rushed, alert. People who look confused, secondary screening. And sometimes it gets it wrong. Travelers have been flagged simply because they were chewing gum or adjusting glasses. Imagine missing a flight because you looked too tense. Until you hear how many people are experiencing exactly that. And despite the anger, despite petitions, despite airlines complaining that boarding times are becoming chaotic, airports keep doubling down, insisting this is essential for future travel safety. But travelers have started asking the question nobody wants to touch. If airports want us to move at the system's rhythm, what happens when the system fails? Who's accountable? Because people forget one thing. These sensors and pacing meters rely on AI interpretation. And AI can misunderstand humans in hilarious and dangerous ways. A guy in Atlanta got flagged because he sneezed too close to the scanner. A woman in Toronto got flagged because her shoelace came undone at the wrong time. A kid in Sydney triggered alerts because kids, well, they don't move in predictable rhythms. And parents, they're furious. And while airports deny everything, leaked memos showed discussions about expanding the pacing rule to boarding lines, baggage claim, even immigration counters. Imagine being told you picked up your suitcase too abruptly. Sounds insane. Yet here we are in 2026. And here's what I personally think. After digging through insider reports, no major travel channel talks about this rule isn't really about safety. It's about data. Behavior data is the most valuable, unclaimed data category in the travel world. It tells companies how you move, how you react, how you behave under stress. It's marketing gold. And controlling your movement gives them predictability. Predictability gives them profit. And profit, well, that's the real king. So what started as an obscure initiative became the most hated. Airport Rule of 2026, and it's only expanding. Travelers feel powerless, annoyed, micromanaged, like airports. Assume every human decision is a potential threat unless proven otherwise. And the truth. If this continues, airports won't feel like airports anymore. They'll feel like slow-motion mazes designed to track you from every angle. But here's the twist no one expects. Some insiders say the system is glitching badly. They say pacing alerts spike when terminals are too hot. They say sensors misread people wearing thick jackets. They say certain lighting confuses the system, and airports are scrambling behind the scenes to fix it before travelers revolt. Will the rule collapse? Will it be reformed? Or will airports double down and force us into a perfectly paced world where spontaneity is a punishable offense? Nobody knows yet. But one thing is certain: this rule isn't going away soon. And as long as it grows, travelers will keep asking one terrifying question. If airports now control how fast we move, what's next?